$47. That's what was in the wallet the night everything changed. Not $47,000. Not $47 million. Just $47. That's where this story starts. You weren't supposed to be here. Not in this apartment. Not in this uniform. Definitely not at 11:47 at night, delivering food to people who never see your face. Nobody in your family had ever owned a business. Not your grandfather, who spent 34 years on a factory floor. Not your father, who clocked in every morning at 7:53 a.m. for 22 years, always on time, never promoted. Not your mother, who never once complained about a job she quietly hated. They worked hard. That much was never in doubt. You saw it in the way they came home, quieter than they left. In the way the bills were spread on the kitchen table at the end of every month. Not in crisis, just in careful calculation. $51,200 a year between two people, both working full-time. It wasn't poverty, but it was never freedom either. It starts as a thought you can't fully name. A moment where something you see, a problem, a gap, an inefficiency, makes you think someone should fix that. And then, why not me? You told your family. Maybe you shouldn't have. Not because they were unsupportive, but because the look on their faces, that mixture of love and fear, told you everything about the world you came from. They weren't trying to stop you. They were trying to protect you. From failure, from embarrassment, from what happens when people like us get ideas above our station. But here's what nobody says at that dinner table. Staying safe has a cost too. It just bills you in years instead of money. You build it in the margins, 5 a.m. before the day job. Lunch breaks, the hour after the delivery shift when every sensible person was asleep. You weren't building fast. You were building in the only time you had. Your first customer paid you $127. You screenshot it, stared at it for longer than you'll ever admit. Not because of the amount, because it was proof. Someone out there decided your idea had value. That was worth more than the $127. Month 7. The product wasn't selling. The savings were gone. The credit card balance read $8,743, and the delivery app was showing you the same streets at midnight that it showed you 18 months ago, before any of this started. $213. That's what a year and a half of sacrifice looked like in a number. This is the moment that separates the people who build something from the people who almost did. It's not a dramatic moment. It doesn't feel heroic. It just feels like a Tuesday where you have to decide whether this version of your life is still worth the cost. You didn't have a breakthrough insight. You didn't read the right book or find the right mentor. You just decided that the version of yourself who quit wasn't someone you could live with. So you stayed, not out of confidence, out of stubbornness, which in business is sometimes enough. You went back to the beginning. You talked to customers, the 3 you had, and actually listened. You rebuilt the offer, repriced it, repositioned it, killed the parts that weren't working with the same coldness you wish you'd had 12 months earlier. Month 1 after the pivot, $4,200. You remember the exact number. Month 3, $11,847. You had never earned $11,847 in a month in your life. Your father's monthly take-home was $3,100. You had just made nearly 4 times that in 30 days, by yourself. From a laptop, nobody tells you what it feels like the first time the business actually works. It's not loud. It's not champagne. It's just very, very quiet. And in that quiet is the terrifying understanding that you were right, that it was possible, that you almost didn't find out. Nobody warns you about the distance, the way building something pulls you out of the room, even when you're in it. The conversations you can't fully participate in anymore, because part of your brain is always somewhere else. The relationships that quietly drift because you're not the same person you were, and you can't explain why. Success is not free. It never is. The question is just which currency you're paying in. There's a moment in every business owner's journey where the thing they built becomes bigger than themselves, where it has its own momentum, its own identity, where you go from doing the work to overseeing the work. Most people never get here. You almost didn't. Your first hire, your first real office, the first time you put your phone away at the family dinner and were actually there. These aren't milestones you plan for. They're the ones that matter. That wallet with $47 in it, you still have it. You never threw it away. Not as a reminder of how far you've come. That would be sentimental. You kept it because it's the most honest object you own. $847,000 in year 4. Not because you were smarter than everyone else. Not because you had connections or capital or a head start. Because you stayed when the data said you shouldn't. Because you rebuilt when the easier choice was to stop. Because somewhere in you was the belief, not the certainty, just the belief that it was possible. Somewhere right now, someone is watching this from a delivery shift, from a 5 a.m. desk session, from a dinner table where nobody believes them yet. This video is for that person. Not because success is guaranteed, but because you need to know the path exists. Someone walked it, and they started with $47 in a worn wallet, and they almost quit on a Tuesday in month 7. And they didn't. And everything changed. The question is whether you will.